A very good evening and thanks for clicking on to the Thursday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. We are now on the 9th of December, firmly approaching the middle portion of the month. And so far so good. The weather has become very, very unsettled indeed, stormy. We've seen some exceptionally deep areas of low pressure, and we're going to continue to see that over the next several days. We're also talking about the cold maintaining itself over the north and northeastern portion of Europe. That will back off quite significantly. We may even flip around to above normal temperatures quite widely across the continent as we go through the next 5 to 7 days here, and I'll explain why in just a second. But this is the month of December so far. Probably, in fact, it is one of the coldest opening weeks to a December on record for northern portions of Europe here. And really, when you think about it, there has been some off-the-scale warmth in recent years in across Norway, Sweden, Finland, northwestern Russia. And it's interesting to see how the opening portion of December 2021 has been the coldest for Helsinki in 84 years. Of course, we've seen Sweden drop to minus 43.7, I believe it was, coldest for the month of December since 86 in Sweden. And only in the last 24 hours or so, we've seen a temperature reach minus 61. Yeah, that's right, minus 61 in eastern portions of Siberia. The first time we've seen that since 2008 in the northern hemisphere out with Greenland. And I believe it's Russia's coldest December temperature since 86 as well here. And if you look at the hemisphere overall, you can see for the month of December so far that we've got, and this has been highlighted for quite some time now, look at Scandinavia, Finland, northwestern Russia, and look at the anomaly here in terms of colder than normal. And right across the top, we're seeing well below normal temperatures here, specifically across northeastern Asia here, around eastern Siberia. We've been seeing sustained temperatures, minus 40s, minus 50s, now minus 60s. Across Alaska and across much of Canada, we're seeing well below normal temperatures. Folks, the pattern is loaded. The cold is loaded within the Arctic region here. And despite the polar vortex being above normal in terms of its strength, forget about the polar vortex for now. We've got the cold air in place. And I think as we go forward, what is going to bring this cold air southwards here? And I think when you've got all this in place, to me, it's only a matter of time. Now, yeah, things can happen. Things can bust. You can avoid the cold. You place an area of high pressure bang over the UK. It stops the cold air from coming in. I get that. There is a chance that could still happen. However, I just believe, I have this strong sense that we are going to see something significant this year. And it's just incredible to see this outstanding level of cold so early in the winter season across the northern continents here. And all it takes is, it's like, to me, it's almost like I could use the analogy, a balloon, and you just get a pin and burst that balloon and it pops and it just releases the air out of the balloon. And in some aspects, you could look at the Madden-Julian oscillation and see, with it going into phases 6 and 7, and it's becoming more amplified. And by that, I mean it's becoming a bigger driver, a bigger player. And when you've got a strong area of upward motion here over the Western Pacific, and you can see here today, the strongest upward motion is over the Western and Central Pacific. Week 1, you can see that it's the same, and even in the week 2, you can see that it's centered over the Central Pacific here. And what a phase 7 Madden-Julian oscillation means is an increase in possibility of having the block and starting to develop and starting to build. And what we're seeing from the modelling here is very interesting indeed, because remember what I said to you back in recent videos, and of course with the December forecast as well as the overall winter forecast, that we would see a period of stormy. We would see this fight over the western portion of Europe between Atlantic and continental. We've had the cold air coming in. We've had the milder days as well. We've had the stormy weather, of course, with Arwen and Barra. And it looks as if, according to the models, there's a small possibility of having something trying to come up from the southwest in the coming days. But it may be a glancing blow. It may even miss us altogether. But it's what the pattern is telling us that is important here. We're seeing the very active Atlantic. We've seen the super cold air over Northern Europe. And I just think it's all kind of telling us a story here as to where we're going as we go down the road here. So you can see here, this is the GFS, one model run, not an ensemble. So I always try to emphasize that I'm not just honing in on one particular run that suits my forecast here. I'm simply making the forecast, and then you sit back and almost not pay attention to the models, because one model run, it'll give you the exact scenario that you're looking for. Another model run, it'll go completely opposite of that. And I'm not going to buy into that kind of way of looking at things here. I've said what I believe is going to take place. I believe the stormier pattern has materialized. We've also seen the extremes of deep areas of low pressure affecting the UK versus exceptionally cold weather affecting Northern Europe here. So we've got the extremes on the table here. Then as we go towards the middle portion of the month, i.e. next week, we're going to start to see warmer air getting back into the pattern once again, because what we're going to start to see is areas of low pressure start to transfer up towards Iceland. We're seeing that already. We've had a big storm coming off Canada, dumping tremendous amounts of snow in parts of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. That area of low pressure, instead of heading straight up towards over and across the UK, the Atlantic and UK, it's actually going to shift up towards Greenland and Iceland. And with higher pressure starting to build northwards, we're going to start to see temperatures going above normal. But that build-up of pressure could, in a sense, start to be the response of the Madden-Julian oscillation in phase 7 here. So you can see here as I play through the loop here, this, like I say, this is the 500 millibar anomaly chart here. Look at the area of low pressure, very deep, dropping into the 940s and millibars, pushing up towards Iceland and Greenland here. All the while, we're starting to see high pressure from the south starting to build here. So the orientation of low pressure out over the Atlantic, high pressure south of the UK, start to see southwesterly winds bringing in milder air once again here. We're also losing a lot of the intense cold over Europe. So the cold is flipping around. It's exiting to the east. And some people would probably jump in that and go, you see, it arrived early and now it's disappeared. Not necessarily here. Now you can see here as I skip through the loop here, what takes place. Areas of low pressure, a conga line of systems coming off North America, moving up towards the North Atlantic here. All the while, we're building pressure over the British Isles, and it becomes a strong area of high pressure at 500 millibars here. So look at that there for the Saturday, next Saturday, 18th of December, very strong area of high pressure centered over the northern UK into Scandinavia here. As I continue to play through the loop, this is when it gets interesting. You start to see the reds and even the whiter colours representing well above normal heights starting to transfer up into the North Atlantic. Well, what do you know, eh? That is very interesting to see. And as you continue to play through the loop, this is the week running up to Christmas, and lo and behold, you have an area of high pressure over the North Atlantic and over Greenland. Folks, this may not happen. I get that. However, it's what the models are showing, and it is indicative of that phase 7 Madden-Julian oscillation. And if I continue to play through the loop, what you've got is below normal heights starting to develop over the near continent and probably extending into the British Isles here. Let's have a quick look at the 850 millibar temperatures, by the way. This is the anomaly, of course. Play through the loop. Plenty of warmth starts to engulf Europe. And you can see here that as this continues to get through, look at that. Wow, blowtorch, isn't it? And then what you start to see is that area of high pressure start to retrograde westwards into the North Atlantic and Greenland. And look at that there, you've got that plunge of cold Arctic air coming down into the British Isles and into Western Europe here. Exciting times to come. I keep emphasizing that this is the winter to watch in terms of extremes, the possibility of exceptional cold. I don't think we can rule out with the setup that we've got, with the reservoir of Arctic air that we've got to the north, and the potential of that coming south with the Madden Julian oscillation. You could be talking about some of the coldest weather in decades across parts, and we've already seen that, of course. That's already materialized, and all it takes is for something, i.e. the MJO, to go into the right mode, and you release that Arctic air into the middle altitude pattern. And I think that is where we're going towards the end of December here. Then, as I said in the winter forecast, we'll come back out of this cold pattern again, possibly. And then it might return again later in January here. So I'm not saying that it's going to be an ice age between now and March by any stretch. So yeah, keep it right here on YouTube and marvelingweather.com. Please hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll continue to watch this exciting pattern. Hope you have a great evening. Bye for now.